welcome everybody to our Arbitrum Pitch Day training. Very excited to have you here. We're here with Bianca, who is
Hello.
we've been working together for a long time, and it's awesome to do this now in the realm of Arbitrum and Web3. So yes, this is going to be a session. We're going to do this first session. There's going to be another session which is going to be more Asia friendly. And then at the end of the session, we're going to drop a doc for people who are interested in one-on-one training with us. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to Bianca to start sharing the screen.
Yes, sweet. Happy to. Great. So you can see the screen, and the good news is you don't really have to do a lot today. So we'll basically shower you with everything you need to know for July 24th, to create stellar 4-minute pitch. And then the one-on-ones are designed in order to get you on a better level. So this is input generalistic, minimum standard that we kind of expect, and then we dive into you in the one-on-ones. If you have Yatan, could somebody read the chat, because I won't be able to read during the presentation.
I'm
Welcome.
reading. I'll
Wonderful.
keep you updated.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so and at the end there will be room for Q&A. So far, I don't know, you can even switch off your camera, get yourself a drink or a coffee, whatever. It's very chill to do that for you. So, Yatan and me, we've been working for a decade in the ecosystem. So also to me, it's a big pleasure to work finally together. And he's going to have his own word in a few minutes. But I can tell you, why would I tell you anything about pitching? So who is this Bianca person? So my Bianca, and my migration background into tech is that I used to be an actress. I studied 15 years ago, like acting, things on the stage, storytelling, la 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 la. But I've never really worked a day in my life as an actress because I'm basically the offspring of a very nerdy, techie German family. I'm German. I'm calling from Germany. So these are my parents in the 90s. They're like, this is like German carnival being funny. And they dress up as Sudoku and Tetris. The next year, my mom sold herself like a full body mobile phone of 1994. And my dad was the telcos of back then. And normal people dress as cats and cowboys. No, no. My parents, who are both professional electro engineers, in case you wondered, chose data formats. So the costume of choice was GIF as a data file and Mr. JPEG. So you can have an idea about the level of nerdiness and tech I was brought up with. Both of my brothers, like I didn't really see them in their youth anywhere because they were in the cellar doing LAN parties. Both of them are now programmers, one also in the Web3 world. And you can see the 15-year-old Bianca in the lower left corner. The computer is not even switched on. I'm just pretending to be part of this all tech family. And I guess that's the reason what brought me to this actual job for the last 12 years full time. So the main thing I'm doing since 12 years is going from tech accelerator to incorporate to incubator to venture startup to help founders get their technology, their complex business model and market stuff in 2 to 5 minutes in front of investors without feeling or looking like complete idiots. So it's half a boil down complexity, make it so people get it, and get yourself there as well, because you have to talk it at the end. So it is a little bit of a performing arts piece, whether we like that or not. So when I say the word pitch, which I will say a lot in the next couple of minutes, it's basically everything that you present in front of a group where you present to your team. Or it could be you giving a big speech on, I don't know, uh, anywhere, TechCrunch, wherever. But it's also like you on a video. So right now, more or less, this is me presenting on a video, you listen to it. So I'm trying to cover it all because we will have digital pitches. So I'm not going to tell you about body language and stage presence today because it doesn't really matter. But video is not much easier. In fact, it's harder to keep people's attention there while you're speaking about your not very non-complex topic. So we will cover also like emotions inside and voice and emotional stuff. So we'll have between 3 to 5 minutes. We will cut you at 4 minutes. So the pitch that we're creating is slides and you as the founder or the CTO presenting to people that want to invest in your space and trying to understand that. When people are like, oh yeah, pitching, and you're from the performing arts, isn't a pitch all about catching the emotions and an engaging story? And I'm like, nah, no. Because this is not a TED talk. This is not like a circus. This is not a theater piece. A story alone won't cut it. And because in the end it's a B2B situation where a business, which is an investor, either an institutional or a business angel, tries to understand your business in order to invest money in it to become a better business for both of you. So because it's business event, many founders go like, oh yeah, that's why I'm going to put business numbers and technology in there. And well, the truth is that also won't quite cut it. We are trying to create a hybrid between a story-ish, easy to understand, very precise on business numbers and tech and USB and all that stuff, delivered by you, of the founder's personality. Because whenever you're between, I'd say, idea stage and Series A, the main piece people invest in is your team and the people that run the company. Because we've all seen startups, and startups go, and investors will always say, oh, it's the team, the team, the team, the team. So you cannot cut yourself out of that 4-minute pitch. The default setting of any demo day, pitch day that, I don't know, Yatan and me have been to hundreds of, and I'm sure you did too, is okay, an investor comes and says, so another startup, okay. So whether that's an investor or a jury member or a client or even the politician that you're trying to get as a stakeholder. I know that the Web3 kind of movement is more than just business, as much bigger than that. I get that. But the default setting of the mindset of the person listening to you is like, oh yeah, and they also need different pitches each because they have different incentives. But our goal is to get this guy who's like, I don't care about you. I didn't even know you existed until a second ago. So to get him into this person. It's like, that makes sense. This is so interesting. I want to talk to this person. So get them excited so that after this pitch, they feel like, I want to reach out. I want to make business. I want to learn more. I want to kind of have a stake at this company. That's the goal of our 4-minute pitch. So see it as the very first date of a very long and maybe painful marriage. I'm gonna very fast, because you're smart people, ride you through content, slide design, delivery, meaning what should go into that 4-minute pitch, how should you build these slides for that, and how should you deliver it, what to learn from it. I'm gonna be fast because it's not rocket science. None of what I'm going to say is rocket science. So content, the structure of any classical pitch is always built the same way. And you don't think in the problem slide, the market slide, think in chapters. Some pieces need more attention, and sometimes a business model you can say in 2 words and it's clear. So I hope the content structure is fucking boring to you because you've seen that before. I hope. So you start with the visual teaser up front. Like, if you want to build a business that is selling wigs for cats, if that is your business, and it's a real business, by the way, then your first slide should look like this. We do wigs for cats, featuring a picture with a cat and a wig. So try to make it impossible for my brain not to understand, oh, this is not IoT in East Africa. This is not Web3 in Russia. This is e-commerce in the pet space. And then you want to start with the problem. Whose life sucks? So in that abstract example, and don't let yourself fool by, there's going to be many cat gifs. Of course, this is just because I'm trying to abstract pitch present to you. But of course, you use your own content. So no need for cat gifs and cat anything. But imagine your problem is cats really hated to get wet. The current user experience of a cat is, look, she gets wet all the time, water everywhere. Her life is really messy. So we have this solution, and the solution is raincoats for cats. Oh my God, this is innovation. Cats will love it. They will buy from us, yada, yada, yada. My point is, try in the very beginning, after 1-sentence pitch, what we're doing, for whom, you go, what is hurting, and contrast it with how would life be with your product. Then I guess most of you have some sort of a user interface, a user experience, a software. I doubt that's going to be lots of hardware in this batch, but show us that user experience. So don't explain it to us. Show us with a mock-up, with a screenshot, with a product demo inside that pitch. And the easiest, fastest way is to have a screen recording of your product silently, no music, no AI voice explaining it, your voice, going through it, explaining, you scroll down, you click here, then this appears, boom, you're done. So that within the window of 20 seconds, people understand from, I have never thought about this problem, to like, oh, I think I get how it would look like for this problem to be solved. Yeah, then market. So of course, most of the startup pitches are like, oh, the market is like $10 billion. And if we get 10% of that next week, we all gonna be millionaires. I'm like, yeah, I know. My mom will be very impressed now, but you're not pitching to my mom. You're pitching to people like who see pitches all the time. So my hunch at market chapter is try to demonstrate to them that you understand the dynamics of that market. What's the current status? Does it grow? If yes, why does it grow? Does the reason for that growth somehow correlate with what you're trying to build? So show that you're the expert of this market and how it's behaving. That impresses investors very much, much more than you showing I can do maths and I can add up numbers that I found on Perplexity. So then the business model. Of course, this is like something that changes throughout your journey as a startup, but you want to roughly say how much does it cost to kind of maintain the business, how much you expect to make money. Very short, very brief. Don't sweat about it too much, but don't skip it. With the competition, especially in that kind of space, it's usually we don't love to tell our investors that, oh, there's 10 other companies trying to do the same. But people listen to pitches and everybody always thinks of themselves as the smartest person in the room. And so if I see a pitch, people not talking about competition, I'm like, ooh, so naive. But there's this and this and this company doing the same thing. So what you want to do is you show who you are, you show who the others are, you show why you're better than them by something I call first give them flowers and then you slap them. Meaning, hey, this is company A and B and C, they're doing great, proving there's a market. Amazing, but what they suck because of X, Y, Z, and that's why we're gonna go in there and make it better. Show that you know who you're up against. Then, elephants. Sometimes there's like elephants in the room where you know your elephants in the kind of Web3 world, and there's also elephants in the AI world. Like every AI startup now has to kind of explain. So what does ChatGPT stop of like just copying that feature? Be the one that kisses the elephant first. Traction validation, the sexiest part of anything would be to prove, does somebody else believe in that other than your team and your dad? So is there any proof that somebody would want to spend money on this? So this could be a B2B logo collection of companies that have signed a letter of intent to you. That might be just a testimonial of somebody like, hey, if this product will be built, then we would actually love it. Anything that's outside proof, sexy, sexy, sexy. Then towards the end of the pitch, we want to shortly show where you're at the moment, more or less. Is this a project that started 2 weeks ago in a hackathon, or is this a project that you kind of built 10 PhDs on and now finally can hit the market? And then where you want to go in the next 3 years. You don't need to say what money you make in March 2028. And then at the very end, you go like, okay, and this is the stellar team. The thing is, the team is the most important thing, one of the most important things. But you won't have the time to say, okay, Stella studied this in that university, and then Annika did a PhD in la la la. So what you want to do is, no rocket science, you just put a visual representation of their skill set on your slide so that you can say, the team is committed and amazing, and my brain already clocked and registered the right logos of the right institutions that give me the feeling of these are skilled people that are relevant to solve that problem in that specific industry. and then you make a short summary, and like summing up your points. We have a product that works, we have customers that want it, and now we're ready to scale, something like that. I don't know, make it better, of course. And then call to action. So this could be, we want to win this. This could be, I want investment of X. This could be, I would love a warm introduction to the CEO of Arbitrum. This could be anything. That you end your pitch with. So you don't just end with, so that's it, thank you very much. So the normal kind of structure is problem, solution, technology, product, market, business model, traction, competition, roadmap, team, call to action, in that order. And it makes sense that way. But because we have the startup ecosystem for many years now, and people have seen pitches, you are dealing with smart people in front of you. And so the pitch bridge is a concept that tries to solve that, because investors see pitches all the time, feel they have no time, and they also have this scan brain to see like relevant, not relevant, bullshit, yes, no, and so at least they think they have that. We might agree on they don't, but they think they have that. So the pitch bridge is the idea to orchestrate in order of boom. So imagine you have a visual volume meter from very loud to very quiet. And you start with the bottom line up front. We do wigs for cats. You end with, and I would now like to have 20K for my Kickstarter campaign. These pieces stay beginning end. All the arguments in between, business model, market, team, technology, USP, traction, you orchestrate in order of how loud is the argument. So usually team goes in the very end. If your co-founder happens to be called Sam Altman, then you might want to say, hello, I'm Bianca, this is my friend Sam, blah, 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 blah. And then people are like, okay, whatever. And there's probably going to be a market somewhere. Another suggestion could be innovation. If your team has researched for 10 years how to change the financial system and, I don't know, have a big innovation where cutting edge science where it's finally delivered to the tech world, then start with that. And the business model, who cares? We will find it later. Another part could be traction. So you might be on product hunt, and people are asking on your waiting list for like 20,000 people on your waiting list. Then the product isn't important for me to understand as investor. The problem is also not important to understand as investor. If you can tell me there's 20,000 people wanting to pay for it, if I built it, give me money so I can build it, I'm already sold. So look at all your arguments, see what is the loudest makes and what argument makes wow. And anything that is less than wow, don't put it in the pitch. 4 minutes is very, very short. So don't have anything inside there where you and the audience would be like, meh, I knew that. Now I'm going to give over to Yatan, because we have a special crowd in here. And so, dear Yatan.
Yeah, well, I'm Yatan. I am in Web3. I have been for the last 3 years or so, and I work in the DeSci space. So yeah, we have some opinions here. So just a couple of pointers here. In Web3, we like very much to use words that are native to Web3, and we advised, I mean, of course, you have to mention them, but try not to just use this, but actually explain what is it that you're doing. Because I mean, it's clear that the big success of any company inside Web3 will often come from people who are coming from outside. The growth of Web3 is actually what's going to make this sustainable. Next up, a lot of companies do tokenomics, and they do token launches. If you could do the next slide, Bianca, please.
Wait, yeah.
And there was like a golden age for this. So, okay, I have tokenomics, we're going to launch it. But for us is now the question, what is the actual token utility? If you're going to do a token launch, then what is actually going to power the token itself? And more importantly, what is the business model itself? In due time, we're seeing governance tokens, our, DAOs, everything else. I'm in that space myself. We see it's not what we wanted it to be. Either there is a better way of doing it, or there's a different way to actually back up what you're doing with real value. So what is the business model of your company? Have that very, very clear, because yeah, it's just not going to cut it what maybe cut it 1 or 2 years ago. Next slide, please. And then how do you fit in? One of the things that is special about Web3 is you're not locked in, right? You own your data, you can switch, you can take your stuff into a different chain, a different place, a different service without any issue. That's one of the benefits. That also means, how do you play in this ecosystem? Is your philosophy part of it? How are you building things so that you can fit into something or several things that might be growing? You can jump on a wave that is happening. So this is much more important here than in a Web2 context, because we depend on this, people being able to switch to you or away from you if you didn't do the job right. And then finally, my next slide. If possible, like build in public. It's always like this, yeah, we're gonna solve this, it's gonna be so different, it's gonna be crazy. But actually, Web3 is full of products that might have been, people like they had a great hype, but they're not actually useful. And even if you have a technically superior product, if you don't have people using it, if you don't have community to champion it for you, then you're not going to get very far. And this is again more important even here than in other contexts, because we need to focus on something that's useful lastingly, and that is not something that, which in the Web3 happens a lot, looks great for now and then ends up being not useful, clunky. So the use case is very important, and that's why having a community to actually help you see these blind spots is so important. That's it from me. Back
Sweet.
to you.
Thank you, Yatan. Sweet. So that's now all of the content part. Now we're gonna shift gears into the creation of the slides and the visual aspects of all this. So slide design, because you have to create slides and then hand them in and have them in the video. So first thing is, PowerPoint is your very best friend. I'm currently like helping a startup that just like sold their product, or is about to sell them to an American company. And they still have to pitch that shit. So the pitching thing will not leave your side when you're in this journey of honor. So you might as well be friends with it and start loving it. So but the one thing is important, which I'm just like sometimes baffled how often this gets wrong. If, I don't know, Ross says, hey, there's this investor interested in kind of investing in that area, send me your pitch. What he wants is 10 slides, PDF, explained easy, that he can read on his computer. If he says, come to our Arbitrum demo day, pitch it, then that's a person presented deck. And also for our day, a remotely presented pitch deck. So you will hand in on July 24th a video of you presenting 4 minutes, pitching with your face and the slides simultaneously that will have to show, and you'll be live there for the Q&A. So those are two different universe of something that I send and have to read versus something that I in 4 minutes have to explain while showing slides. And we're going to talk on this second part. So we've all been there. We all wanted to kill ourselves because the PowerPoint we're watching it was just so bad. And because of what? Because of this. I put text here, and while I was creating this slide, my brain was like, oh, that's such an interesting thought. This is such a smart thing to say. Type, 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 type. What happens right now? The slide makes blah, blah, blah to your brain, and Bianca makes blah, blah, blah to your brain. And so there's two different linguistic streams of content trying to sneak into your brain at the same time. And of course, that doesn't work. So your brain's like, should I read this, listen to her, read this, listen to her? And she shut up so I could read this stuff. So by putting a slide with text on it, you're designing for it that people cannot follow you. So the no rocket science solution is use a picture. So right now I can speak and you only have to listen to my words because the rest is just a visual anchor. Pictures don't need to be pretty. They just need to make sense. So you can get them from Unsplash, from the internet. Icons8 .com is a open source library for all sorts of icons. And of course, you could also visualize because pitching is not a beauty competition, but a making sense in very little time competition. So this might not win an award of beauty, but it's an app for people on a horse. Get it? So film yourself while you draw something, yada yada. And obviously, the elephant room, you can of course also prompt stuff. Prompt things what you want to do. You prompt it, you get beautiful pictures in all sorts of styles that you want. Amazing. I mean, Gen AI is the most beautiful gift of this decade. I love it, I love it, I love it. You can do everything what you want, but imagine this is my picture. I know the prompt, so I created the prompt of an impressionist painting of a happy, cute cat cooking spaghetti inside a pink cat. It rains and sunny. But if you don't know the prompt, then you look at the picture and like, is this a cat or a hamster? Is this a cupcake or a cloud? And what are these strings trying to tell me? So your brain, obviously, because this is a unique picture, has seen this visual for the very first time. So the computing power my brain has to spend to decode and deconstruct the visual is lost. And so even though I love Gen AI and I think the world of it, still my favorite tool is called emojipedia.org. Because emojipedia.org is basically a database of all emojis that we see every day on our WhatsApp, on whatever we were using anyway. So my brain has already seen the yellow woman. My brain has already seen the rocket. So there's zero decoding work to do while I present it. So the following slides I have created in just 5 minutes to tell the following story. Here's this guy. He has a business idea. So he calls his client and tells him about the B2B business idea that he has. She's totally not having it. She doesn't like it. He's super upset, takes off his beard, is very sad. But then he has this groundbreaking thought. What if I send some statistics and some information in an email and then I sent it to her? She totally gets it. They make a lot of money together. The end. So this kind of complexish, weirdish story you cannot not understand because it's those emojis that you know already and they came one by one. If you say, yeah, okay, but my political approach to anything is more complex than emojis, I want a diversity in my thing. Okay, got you back. Humans with 3a.com is a mix and match illustration thing. So you can pick and choose skin color, cultural background, religious, anything, and build your pre-designed persona and put it in your PowerPoint for zero money. So if you do the small PNG, you don't have to buy the pro version. But humans.com, you can have pre-designed non-emoji looking, but still simple looking characters doing whatever. And of course, because we are in this world where it's like, but wait, my topic is more complex and I'm not going to do emojis and all that cat GIF stuff. Because these people exist, sometimes they send me this kind of slide. And I'm like, ooh la la, my sweet little cotton socks baby. Somebody really tried to put visual coding in here, try to get complexity visualized, color coding, different systems. But even if integrated defense acquisition technology and logistics lifecycle management systems were the topic of my dreams, even if that would be the case, I talk about this, my audience looks here. My audience is here, I talk about this, so meow. I cannot decide what happens in their brain right now. And my job is to put blinds on the eye, on the mind of the audience so that you decide what is happening now, what now, what now. So I do not, and I repeat, do not want to tell you, just dumb shit down, make it visual and pretty, then it works. No. Complexity needs to be complexity. But don't do it like that. If you want to show complexity, do it at least like that. Show your ugly slide. The upper part is about this, click. The middle part is about that, click. The lower part here, but we only care about A because of blah, 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 and B, blah, 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 C, D. So that you guide the eyes of the person listening to you at every second. So build complexity up one step at a time. So animate a lot. And I wouldn't use PowerPoint animations. I would just have one slide per step and that's safer because if you ever have to hand in your slides and then the animations don't work. So I always have like one slide per animation. Speaking, since we're not limiting you, you can put 50 slides in 4 minutes, but you can't speak for 10 minutes and 5 minutes. So precision is king, and because pitching is a spoken word act, it's spoken word precision. And so worst case is you have slides and then just like talk along the slides, la la la. Oh no, the time is over. This is also why we make you create a video so that you cannot go over time because you were like, oh shit, that was again 6 minutes. Shit, I have only 4. So use the moderator's notes whenever you pitch, also live when you don't have it to hand it for the future. Use moderator's notes because then you know what to say. When the penguin comes up, I'm going to talk about competition. Okay. Because you know, of course, way more. There's way more relevant to say about your company than it would ever fit in 4 minutes. We know that. So write a script. Please write a script. And I know how that feels. If a former actress tells you, write a script for your business pitch, you're like, fuck that, I have no time. Yes, please write a script. Because then you know which slide and which second you will say what. And if I say write a script, I don't actually mean write a script. Because if you write a script, you're like, type, 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 type. Dear ladies and gentlemen, type, type. I hereby would like to tell you blah, 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 blah. Then my brain is in like written language mode. And the result is a text that might be a nice email or website copy, but a shitty spoken word text. So what I do is I speak a script. I take my phone and I hit record and I'm like blah blah blah, my product, my product, blah blah blah, my pitch, my pitch. After 4 minutes I stop, like, oh, that was short. And then there's speech to text, and then I have a script that is based on the way that my tongue behaves. Because Bianca speaking sounds very different than Bianca writing. And so you just need to record it and then you can edit it. You can cut in buzzwords, cut out buzzwords, polish it. But the DNA of the text will be you speaking versus you writing. And of course, since AI is so well at this moment, you can also use it to edit, you can change, you can even, open the microphone of ChatGPT, have, okay, slide 1, I want to explain that la 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 la. Slide 2, I want to explain that la 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 la, and you can stumble and you can kind of make it a bit shitty, and ChatGPT will create a beautiful script. Then you will have to kind of learn it by heart, but it's a way that it's possible. And I've seen good versions of that part. So there's just you are running out of excuses to have a shitty pitch, is what I'm saying. Sweet. So that was end of slide design. And now let's, for a second, talk about the delivery. So the delivery between people, because there's people in that event coming, listen to you and your pitches, trying to evaluate, do I want to give this guy my money or this woman my money in order to make more money? Do I trust this guy? And so the way we understand, do I trust this? Is this a bullshit artist, a business clown, or is this a credible entrepreneur? This is the only thing we have between humans. Do I trust you? And so the default setting in my life, I don't know about you, but I try to be judgment-free. I'm trying to live a judgment-free life. I'm trying not to judge anybody. Open-minded, la 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 la. Well, the pitch is the incarnation of, hello, here's my heart. Please judge the shit out of me. So in every pitching situation, you'll always be in this little small cat, and the jury, the audience, investors always like, ah, this would not make sense. Oh no, blockchain is dead, Web3, that never work. No, 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 no. It's so easy to listen to you and to judge it. It's so hard to be you and to pitch it. So we can, even though this is my job, I hate pitching. It's the worst. Can we agree on pitching is not fun? Because it is something that you care about, that you want, that you're telling people in a crazy short time, in an inadequate short time, to then get a no, thank you, that sucks. No, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in you. And of course, that hurts. If that wouldn't be emotional stress for you, I'd be asking you to see a shrink, because it is normal to be a bit anxious in front of pitching because there is something at stake. And so, yep, that's one of those situations. So the reason why this is called Pitch Don't Kill My Vibe is not only because I'm a big hip hop fan, that too, but because it's kind of like you're trying to have your vibe while you're presenting, while you do that thing. And so I have a few like ideas from my acting kind of background. So let's talk about speaking attitude. So there's a thing that's a little bit of a men's problem, but I know that Web3 is majority men, like all tech. But so usually I work with men because founders are men, and in tech especially, and CTOs are men, sadly still. And so this is something that I encounter there, and it's like this, like yeah, so because men are not are not allowed to have emotions, and they're like doomed to be strong. And because pitching is scary, they're like, yeah, so this is my product. And then when I talk to you like this, and the more relaxed I am, the less I feel the emotion. And so if I would talk to you like this, telling, yeah, you should have a slide that's having a picture. If I would talk to you like this, it's way harder to actually pay attention to me, because the less energy I give, the more energy you have to invest to stay focused. And so being cool is the opposite of being present. And the least you have to do in those 4 minutes is to show up fully with your energy, with your fear, throw it all in there and tell what you want to say, being prepared and be there. So show up is the minimum you can do. Then the other thing that helps me to understand, so understanding the social architecture of the situation you're in. Let's say you're live pitching. So like forget about the video, you're live pitching. And there's an audience, and then there's you. If I speak to Yatan one-on-one and he says something and I say something, my face, when he talks, my face will be like, okay. So my facial expression will indicate for him, is she with me? Does she like it? Does she understand it? If I speak, his face will do reactions. And my brain, because we all have mirror neurons, is thriving on that feedback. Is he with me? Does he agree? Does he get it? Does he listen to me? La 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 la. So but when I switch from one-on-one to one-to-many, the faces in front of me that were like, aha, oh, a second ago, suddenly become dead face scenario. So the chances are 100% that you will see a room of people that look to you like this. And your sweetheart mirror neurons, of course, I mean, they don't go on holiday, right? So they are still in your brain. They're still scanning all the facial expressions for you. They scan this and then report back to your brain. And Bianca, I have bad news. All those faces look very bored. And I think what you're doing is very boring. And again, who do you think you are? You put yourself on the stage. La 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 la. So all the anxiety, the childhood traumas, the insecurities that we have anyway, become suddenly very loud when you're alone on a stage in front of people who look like they don't care. And if we have that online, well, that doesn't get any easier. Right now, I have like switched off your cameras so I don't see you, I don't hear you, I don't even know if my Wi-Fi still works. And if for that reason we force ourselves to switch on your camera, so to make it more neutral, still, I don't know, are these people looking at me? Are they on Amazon buying something instead? However you choose it, to change and fix it, it is a nightmare to pitch to people that are in silence listening to you. And so I have no fix for that. I can only say, well, you have to power through it anyway. Force yourself to trust yourself enough that you know the reason why they're looking at me like that is not because I'm bad, inshallah. It's just because they don't have a social indication to be like, oh. So, and because we have 2025, you also have to be authentic. Like, how on earth can you be authentic? So there's a few things. So one is own your space acoustically, which is my favorite topic, the voice. Meaning I need to smart ask you for a second. The word personality, surprise, is from Latin origin and it's called per sonare, per through sonare, sonos, these sound boxes you might have heard. So the word personality doesn't describe your character, what you do. The word literally means the sound through because it comes from this like Greek theater mask stuff. So that this is true, we see every day on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Tinder. If I see a picture of somebody, I don't know who they are, but if I hear them for 10 seconds on the phone, I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of person you are. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So the sub data of do I like them or not? Are they funny or not? Are they smarter than me or not? Like all those sub judgments I get from the voice. So if you want to see like that, the data you get from hearing somebody is way more dense and rich than the data that you get from what kind of a haircut has this person. And why does it matter for your pitch? Well, because the sound is a very, very, if not the dominant piece in your pitch. So to show you the obvious part of that, voice carries power. How does every big boss and every mafia movie you've ever seen speak like? Can also be women, obviously. But how do they speak? They kind of say like this, I don't know, I'm going to have a drink now, and you can just kill them. Good night. Something along those lines you could say. Or, I don't know, I'm going to have a drink now. You can just kill them. Good night. Well, content-wise, it was exactly the same script, but everybody felt like, ooh, the first one's the big boss. Every word is a pearl out of his mouth. Nobody would dare to interrupt him. And the second one is like, oh, like that's, I'm not very, I don't, I want to hurry up and not breathe, and I'm smiling, and I sound like the intern's assistant. Well, guess what? In your pitch, where we limit you to 4 minutes, and you're trying to fit in everything that you have to say, guess how you will sound like the second one. And that so much diminishes you, your credibility, your power, and your level of authority. And authority is something that we culturally often like dismiss, like, nah, that's old school stuff. No. Authority can be an act of love. If I talk to my kids and I'd be like, every parent, like every person that ever interacted with the kid would intuitively speak like that, like, stop, there's a street, here is a car, you stop right here, it's dangerous. If I say, hey, there's a street, here's a car, stop here, it's dangerous, okay? Goes in here, goes out there. So when I want to show, I know what I'm doing, you do exactly what I say, because I know this is an act of love, because you, the investor, hopes that this blockchainy Web3 kind of thing is maybe interesting and maybe I can make money with that and it's in a world changing. And you're the one from within that world. And you know way better than them. Your job is to hand out the hand. Say like, don't worry, darling, you can take my hand. I can take you through the dark forest and lead you to the light. If your insecurities or your fast speaking messes it up and like, hey, no, I know what I'm doing, he won't be able to feel that you're doing that. And in the end, he's trying to, or she's trying for a reason to trust you. And so embrace your warm, loving authority because you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. We talked about men's problems, and of course, there's also women's problems. So there's this voice by level of design, meaning this is called level of indifference. So every voice is like made in a specific way. And so my voice that I was given by nature is somewhere, concentrate, somewhere here. So actually, if I would speak to you in that voice, then it's much easier for me to actually create a tone, and it's way less stress for my body to speak to you like that. But because I'm a girl and I want to be pretty and thin and lovable, I'm going up with my voice because up here it's like less dangerous, and I'm not afraid that you think that I'm this like boss lady and that you still like me. And if I'm going down here, I'm afraid that you think that I'm like super not likable and that I'm like too manly. And so I'm going up with my voice. But sadly, that's a big fat mistake because you cannot sound competent when you speak up here. Not because women aren't competent, the opposite is the case, but because people smell bullshit and they smell when you're trying to shrink yourself to fit in. And that's just not the way of an entrepreneur. Not in this, never has been. So it's not about reenact the mafia boss, the deeper the better. No. Watch yourself, observe yourself. How do you speak when you're with your family, when you're with your friends, your best friends? Like when I speak to my brother is my brother, whether he likes it or not. And how do I speak to him? I would always say, Alex, gib mir den Apfel bitte, Alex, der Apfel. Danke. I would never say, Alex, kannst du mir den Apfel bitte geben? Apfel, Dankeschön. Nobody speaks to their siblings like that. So observe yourself. What kind of words do you use? What kind of tone do you have when you're not afraid? And then copy and paste that version of yourself and pretend to be that person when you're pitching in front of investors. Last part, and then we're like almost done because yeah, running out of time. Contextualize the sound to your meaning. This is an original text from a startup script. Kami is a solution that allows you to create a meal like in a cafe but without cooking. Hey, what? Kami is a solution that allows you to create a meal like in a cafe but without the cooking. Okay, it's like this, but without the other thing. Try to inspire your audience's evaluation acoustically by telling them la 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 la, important word, la 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 la, other important word. So decode it with your tone, the hierarchy and the relevance of your signaling words. Last to-dos, don't speak too fast. That's something I personally still work on. Don't only use one tone of voice, because if you use only one tone of voice, then it's much harder for the other people to concentrate and to understand what you're thinking, because also it's the same. And then it's harder. I need to actually focus more to understand what you're saying. So please don't do it. And also like, hello, my name is Bianca. I'd like to talk about all the wars in the world and the climate crisis and like the world falling apart. It's very tricky in the financial system, and I'm smiling makes no sense, and I look like a complete idiot. When you say something that you care about, have the guts to not smile just because you're presenting, but have the guts to be neutral. You can be smiling when you make a joke, when you say hello, but don't just put sugar on a pizza. Pizza is nice, sugar is nice, together, bags. And in that video pitch, like right now, I mean, I know that you either are like, oh, this woman talks too much, or you might be interested in what I'm saying, but you already have an opinion about my voice and about the way that this sounds. So voice dominates the power of a virtual pitch, which also means if you speak more like digitally, it might be a good investment to have a 30 bucks kind of microphone. But the vocal sound, your soundtrack of the pitch is not something random, but it's the main character of your pitch. Let me fill out the pause is the exclamation mark of the spoken word. I could say, this is a bottle, it's from with glitter, there's water drin. I'm drinking it because I'm thirsty. Or I can say, here's a bottle, there's water inside. I'm going to drink it because I am thirsty. And like, oh, okay, that was deep, that was meaningful. No, it was dummy context, dummy content. But the pause made it sound like it has a very relevant meaning. It doesn't, it's just a pause. But for your pitch, that means there's always this one thing that you want them to like not miss. So what you do is you shut up. You say what you want to say with every fiber of your body and presence. And you shut up for a second. I call this the sandwich of silence. And that leads us to the end. When there's questions like, oh, don't be like, oh, thank you, Mr. Investor Man. Thank you, dear family offices. Meet people on eye level. Even if it's like the $1 billion fund of X, meet them on eye level. If they have hard question, be like, great question. I don't know the answer, but I will find out. Embrace it. Don't try to sneak out. People smell that. Chew, that was it. Path delivery. The whole, like, especially your kind of industry is a niche. You want this pitch to be able to travel outside the room so that the investor is like, oh, okay, that was blockchain in the pet sector. I don't invest in that, but my friend Gisela. So Gisela, hello, I just saw this pitch that does a ba 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 ba. And he or she needs to know what ba 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 is. So make it so simple that it's repeatable outside the room, because most investors know other investors and they speak amongst themselves. So your KPI, your key performance indicator for the pitch is that you're like, who are you again? Ah, you're this woman with the weird, funny parents in these costumes. I remember you. That's the KPI. I know that was a lot and we only have 4 minutes left, but thank you. You can do it. We're going to stay on your side. Please be Batman that doesn't, yeah, that has a presentation. Thank you for listening. Cool. Sorry, Yatan, for going over time. Are people still here? Yes, they are. We have time for questions to Yatan, to me, to the organizing team. Anything you need to know before the one-on-ones, which you will get. So we'll get you slots for deep dives, 2 sessions with us. Yes, Andres, give us your question.
Yes, I wanna I wanna get one-on-one with you guys. I don't know how to do that. I work off of my phone. I'm not really tech savvy, but I'm trying and I'm learning.
Yes, fine. Yes, we're gonna, is the, Yatan, is the link already out there for the, yes,
The
right?
link is there. So time zones are on the doc. It's GMT +2 in this case. You can fill in your details there, pick a slot. We will get in touch with you. We're gonna have a second of these sessions, so we're gonna post it then. Then after that, we're gonna confirm the slots with you. But click on the link there, fill in your details. I've posted it again, and these are free of charge. They're brought to you by Arbitrum. So I would say, take advantage because otherwise it doesn't come cheap.
Yeah.
So this is, if again, so these are Yatan that you can choose between having Yatan who knows way more about Web3 or Bianca. Choose who you want with them. And then the first session is 40 minutes and maybe you're done with that. And then the second session of 20 minutes if you need it to get those 4 minutes running. And you put your name and your email address in there and then we're going to send you a calendar invite.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Please.
I look
Pleasure,
forward to
pleasure.
working with you.
Pleasure. Any other concerns, questions? Now's the time for you to speak up.
I have a
So
short
thank you,
question if
Bianca.
nobody's asking.
Oh.
I'm kind of curious. What do you think about accessibility? So, like from what you were saying, everything made so much sense, but also a lot of those things are actually not things that are accessible to me. But also, it might also be a reason why it's my co-founder who's going to be presenting, not me. But I'm curious, is accessibility something that is just basically potentially risky?
It's a good question. So since mostly the audience is investors and accessibility is not a big topic in there, even though politically I think like in general we should do that, my experience is like it doesn't really matter. And for effectiveness, I would choose the person, the team that has the least struggle to speak and have them do the job because it's a messy job. That's why in general I would
Yeah,
say,
we've already chosen that. I'm just curious
yeah.
because I know that I'm just wondering if maybe like people are like me are just not the ones who'll be listening. So there's no
Could you be
sense
more
to.
precise? What was the part? So because I'm also
Oh,
want to.
so basically I'm neurodivergent, so that's ADHD autistic, and that often means that I cannot just listen. I lose words. So I might need
Yeah.
words written to be able to hear what you're saying. but that might be too confusing to others. And also, if there's videos,
Yeah.
that's just painful for my eyes.
I mean,
But that's
yeah.
another thing.
I understand. I mean, I feel the same. Like I'm clinically diagnosed with ADHD, and which you like kind of obviously kind of see maybe. And I also struggle to listen to people who speak too slow. It's a nightmare for me. And I've never viewed it through the lens of accessibility. True. I would say most investors are men above 45, and they sometimes enjoy, and non-tech people, and tech people are usually smarter and faster in their brain, and need you to speak slower, which is a bit of a sad thing to say, but that's my experience for the last 10 years. Whenever I spoke to developers, they're like, yeah, we love that you speak so fast. And when I speak to like investors, they're like, you speak so fast, can you slow down? I'm like, okay, I'm trying to. So I don't know. It's a messy topic. I hope this helps or doesn't make it worse.
I was just curious, I suppose,
Okay.
what's the best approach? Thank you.
Thank you. Mike.
Hi, sorry. I was gonna ask you a couple of questions, but I heard I just saw the answer for the first question that it was the time zone for the sessions. So I'm going to leave that.
Okay, cool.
I think was to ask another question. What is going to be the process of the, let's say, how are you going to work the session? I have to go there and present and make me.
That's a great question. So the session, because 40 minutes is not a lot of time. So we will go on a call. It's going to be Yatan or me and you. And then the first thing is okay, pitch your thing. And then you will share the slides. You'll be like, hello, my name is, and we'll look onto it from the most like ignorant mindset possible and try to say, okay, change this, change this, change this. This is amazing. This is amazing. And then go slide by slide, digesting it, and then make basically a line on a plan, you and us. Be like, this is a better way to present it. And if you agree on that, then you basically change it. And from the second pitch, second meeting, that's a follow up on that part. So it will be very straightforward, working on what the slide says and what the structure of the argumentation, how it's built. And then the second session will focus on the polishing of the sounds. What is the sentence? Where do you make a pause? Do people understand what you say? La la la.
No, okay. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. Juan.
Hi, Bianca. Hi, Yatan. Great stuff. I was wondering if you already have an idea of how the crowd's going to be, if among the investors that are going to be assistant to demo day, to pitch day, are they Web3 natives? Do they come from different backgrounds? Not necessarily, Web3,
Important
but
question. I leave that to Rosso and Yatan. It's a very important question.
Yeah. So look, there's more information coming out for the final pitch day. That I can tell you for sure. We know also for sure that it's going to be more than 50 investors. It's not only Web3. They don't have to be from Web3. But, since this is an Arbitrum Pitch day, Web3 investors are going to be attracted for sure. That's what I can say.
okay. Thank you, Russell.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bianca, for all the information. Really quickly, we're putting our slot in for the one-on-one meeting. It is on Germany time for you, correct, Bianca?
Yeah, it's yes, GMT plus. Isn't that CET, Yatan? Yeah, but GMT plus CET is same thing. Yeah. So it's Berlin time.
Sounds good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, that's important. Yes. I
The
didn't manage to do it in Calendly. There's smarter ways to do it than a Google Doc, but I failed doing it. So that's why we have that like kind of old school weird way to do it.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, yeah, thank you. I also scheduled our slot. I was wondering, since we are preparing this project and obviously the pitch, when would this pitch day would be? Could maybe people from our RnDAO give us a little bit more of that so we can completely prepare accordingly?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Cecilia. So the pitch day is going to be on July 24th.
Okay.
This is the
Thank
day. You're welcome. And by the way, if you go to the Luma page you used to register for this event, you will find a link to the Pitch Day Luma page. So this is where you can find all the information about the Pitch Day. Everyone, you just go there, register, and yeah. Okay.
I just put it here on the chat as well. So that's going to be the Arbitrum Pitch Day. So click it, sign up for here. You also get information there. So make sure that you're in one of the Lumas at least, so you can get actually more information.
Yeah, for those of you who want to join, we're gonna be sharing an additional form, a more advanced form than the one you fill out just to register, because we don't have space for everyone in just a 1 hour event, of course, right?
All right, looks like
Sweet.
we're done for the time being. So
Find in the next days like slots to basically sign up so that we can then start sending out the like taking down the document and sending out the invite. So make sure that you do that ASAP kind of thing.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Thank you everyone for joining.